everyone. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. Look what Father Christmas bought me. Some lovely Oxford hot grips, the premium sports heated grips. Here they are here. Got the grips, the intelligent heat controller, and today we're going to have a go at fitting them to my Honda CBR650. First thing we need to do is to remove the bar end here, and it's held in by a screw, and it's important that you get the right size screw on this. This is a Phillips number 3. That fits quite nicely, and then it's just a question of, you'll notice here that if I just turn, the whole bar end turns, so you need to hold the bar end, and these can be really tight. I have to think of how I might be able to get that. That's really on tight. Right, I've had a look on the internet and such like, and one suggestion is to get some duct tape, the really strong stuff, and wrap it around the grip and the bar end all the way around, go around a good 3 or 4 times to hold that tight, and then to use a right-handed socket, right-angled socket set. So let's try that now. So I'm going to hold here. And that has done the trick. You can see here, that's now, well, so much so, it's quite happily loosened off. So what I'll do is I'll get the duct tape off now so that I can get it off. Now I've got the duct tape off, just undo this. Right. And then the bar end just pulls off like so. And there we are. Right, you can see the grip now and the metal bit inside. I'm going to use a Phillips head screwdriver because it's got a rounder, blunter edge rather than a flat head. I'm just going to try and get in there now between the grip and the metal bar, which I think hopefully you can see there. I'm trying to loosen it off a little bit. Also going to get some silicone lubricant here. Just give a squirt in. Just work my way in. Pull it up a little bit more lube. As I always say, you can never have too much lube. So I'm just working my way up the grip now with the screwdriver. Get more lube further in. And then gently work like that. You can see now the grip's starting to loosen. Pull it, and off comes the grip. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is take the left hot grip, and you can tell it's the left one. It's very helpfully. There's a little L there on the bottom of the cable, and I'm just going to dry test fit it onto the bar here. So, get it all in just to see how, because you see obviously the clutch has got to close. It's currently fouling a little bit, so I think that needs to be turned to there. Yep, that's going to work without fouling. Route the cable underneath that way, but also gives you an opportunity to check how it's going to fit with the bar end. Wait, you can probably see here there's no gap between the end of the rubber and the bar end weight. It's not really fitting that well, so I think what I'm going to have to do is, it says in the instructions here that you can trim. see here there's a line round it, so I'm going to get in and I'm going to just trim that outside bit off there, just to give it a bit more room. Now, having trimmed that bit off the edge, and you can see there what I've trimmed off, there's a nice little gap there, as it would be with the OEM grips. That's just about perfect. Now we're happy with the dry fit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some super glue on the bar here. I've given a little bit of a clean with some brake cleaner just to get that silicone lubricant off that I use, and I put an old cloth here on the bike just in case the super glue runs off, drops down. You don't really want that on your fairing or anything. So I'm going to go in just here, squeeze a little bit. Whoa, it's quite runny stuff. There we go. The old adage, little goes a long way. Now I'm going to get the grip and you haven't got long to work it. I'm now going to get it into the right place. Not too far. It's about perfect. Make sure clutch is fine, and also my indicator here is not. What I am going to do is I'm going to get my trusty wooden mallet here, just give it a tap just to make sure it's all the way in. Right, so got the grip on, might as well shove the bar end on. What I am going to do is I'm going to go belt and braces, and I'm going to put a little bit of medium blue Loctite medium strength locking compound on here. The bar end you can see has a notch along one side. Just got to get that lined up. The reason I put a bit of locking compound on there is going to get some vibration through the handlebars, through the bar ends. Just want to keep that in. What I'll do is I'll keep an eye on that, and after I've been out a couple of 100 miles, I'll just have a feel for that again, just make sure that's nice and tight. So that's one side done. Need to move over and do the throttle side now. And actually, that side was not as difficult. I didn't need to duct tape that one. Right, now with this one being the throttle side, you'll see that there's a white plastic covering, and that's obviously what turns for the throttle. So I have to try and get in on that side. Bit of silicone lube again. Once again, it's a question of working the right. This is much tighter. Feels like it's glued in right at the very top part of the throttle thing. This is, you can feel this is all slipping quite nicely down this bottom end. It's up to this top end here. Yes, the grip is actually over the throttle knob on it, so you need to lift the flap all over, and then twist. And the grip comes off. I had to slightly nick it a little bit just to get that edge bit over. But yeah, you can see See in there how it's been glued on quite tightly. Now we've come up with a slight issue here. You can see on the plastic throttle that you've got some grip bits here, but you've got this lip on the end here, and you get the hot grip and offer it up, and there is no way that this will fit over. It's just not enough give, elasticity in the grip like you would with the original ones, to be able to get it over. I mean, no matter how much you try. So I think I'm going to have to get my Dremel out. I'm going to have to sand this down to kind of round this off to see if we can fit it. As much as I'm a power tool fan, I've got a big metal file here. I think I'll have a go with this first, see how we go. Right, so I never used the Dremel in the end. I just did use this this metal file that I've got here. This plastic's very soft, and what I've done is I've had to really go round the whole edge here and completely flatten that off. Even still then, dry fitting, it was tight, so all these little bumpy bits that you can see on the throttle here, these catch bits, I've been all round this, backwards and forwards, and I've also filed down round the edge here of the lip to make sure that it will cover up as much as possible. And now if I offer it up, I can, it needs some squeezing on, but actually I can get on pretty nice fit. And again, as I did with the last handlebar, I've just sliced off that extra bit to make the tighter fit. So I think we're good to go with some super glue. Once again, I'll put a cloth down here and I'm going to super glue all on here, and I'm also going to super glue round this mating face here to try right at the very end of the throttle bit there, just to make sure I get as tight a seal as I can. So that's running through now. So, here we go. Get it in position. I think that's good. Just give it a bit with the rubber mallet on the end, and just giving it a good squeeze all round. Make sure that super glue is pressed in tight on the rubber. As before, put a bit of thread lock on the bar end. Just going to nip this up. Right, hopefully you can see here that the grip is up, pressed tight against that raised lip of the plastic throttle switch, but with enough space there that that's not going to stick, foul or interfere with the operation of the throttle. You can see there, grip on that side, all nicely in place. The controller unit, they give you a bracket to mount nicely onto the fixings here for the clutch lever. You can see there, metal thing, sit on very nicely there. Nicely engineered bit of kit. You can see here the metal plate goes on with 4 screws, which I can tell you from previous bad experience only do up to like finger tight each one going into plastic. Otherwise you put too much pressure and you start splitting the plastic. We don't want to do that. So that's plenty tightened onto it. That'll allow us to mount onto there. So I'm going to loosen this. This is an 8mm socket. That's up a touch. Not too tight, so we're still the top one. Right, just looking here at this, they get provided within the kit a collar and a new spacer. Let's try. See how that works. Yep, that's feels the clutch is in about the right place. So now with everything all in place, it's just a question of sorting out the wiring. Cable tied here, the lead to some of the existing wiring, so I can make sure that there's clearance on the throttle side to be able to move. Yeah, you can see there where I've cable tied, and I wanted to make sure that when I turn the throttle it's clear of the throttle housing there. So yeah, plenty of clearance. I then routed along with the existing wiring around here, around the back of the headstock and through this side. On this side you can see I've run the cable up quite tightly underneath the existing wiring through here, and from the controller down through here, cable tied there. Again, cable tied here to the existing wiring, down through here to another one, bringing up the right hand grip around the headstock. You can see here, cable tied all the way through, and I've connected up the right hand one, the left hand one, loosely cable tied, just to try and keep everything tidy. And I've undone the fairing bolt here and also down underneath here, just to pull out the fairing a little bit, and I'm going to try and slot all the leads in behind, run down through, up behind here and out for the battery leads. So let's see how we go there. Right, so finally you can see that I've routed the cables, tied them and got them in behind the fairing here. I've routed them under there with the steering on full right hand lock, so that when you come to full left lock and back again, they're not going to get snagged at all. So I've now replaced all the fairing back, the wires go in, they sit behind here, come down here, run underneath here by the chassis rail, come through here, out into here, and then now connected up to the battery. So it just remains now to see if they work. Switch them on. 30%, 40, 50, 75, 100. See the battery sensing coming on, because I've only got the ignition on, not the engine running, which means if I leave them on, that shall eventually turn off to stop me from draining my battery. I can now feel the grips warming up, and that is going to kick off in a sec.